mask off. Okay, good evening and welcome to the March 10th, 2022 meeting of the Newmarket Conservation Commission. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay. And Sue, would you like to do roll call, please?
I will. Patrick Reynolds.
Present.
Melissa Sharple.
Here.
Ellen Snyder.
Here.
David Dell.
Yep.
Chris Blackstone.
Here.
Sam Kenny.
Here.
Jeff Olenoff.
Present.
Megan. No. Melissa.
Here.
And Juliana.
Here.
Okay. We have members of the public to make comments. I believe that's to you, Jerry, if you want to take the podium and address.
I'm Jerry Collins. I gave a presentation about 2 years ago to this committee. I don't know how many of you are new, but I fished the weir downtown at the town landing. And I had called Patrick this morning and asked him if he could possibly do me a favor. The Fish and Game Department closed the river herring season last year for the first time in over 45 years that I've been fishing the weir. And come to find out, earlier this week, a New Hampshire marine biologist told me that they had redone the figures and their statistics to close the weir last year were wrong. They should not have closed it last year, and they should reopen the season this year for river herring. Only Cherie Patterson, the chief of Marine Fisheries, in this fellow's words, was just sitting on it, not doing anything about it. So he strongly suggested I get as many people as I can to call that office up in Durham and ask her to open the river herring season. I thought maybe your committee might be interested in doing that. If I can't fish for river herring, the weir is going to be gone. And we can document one there back to the 1600s. Now, I've been fishing it down there for over 45 years myself. And then 5 years before that with Chick Hayes. Anyway, that's probably about all I had to say.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for coming down and informing us about this.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
If anybody has anything on their minds about the park or whatever, I would very much enjoy talking to them. I've gotten one name already to get in touch with. All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Take care. Okay. We also have a guest speaker tonight, so I'm going to move that we move next to our guest speaker, which is Tom Hobbs from Revision Energy. So Tom, if you want to go ahead and take the podium.
Yeah, I'm not going to use the mic. I'd really just like to project my voice if that's all right with this group. But thank you so much for having me this evening. Tom Hobbs from Revision Energy. I work with our residential sales team in our office down in...
We do need the microphone for TV audience.
TV, okay. All right there? Perfect.
Yep.
Actually, try that up.
I don't want you to need like yoga and physical therapy.
I need that anyway. Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everyone. Tom Hobbs from Revision Energy. We are an employee-owned solar company in Brentwood, and we are participating in the Solarize Newmarket campaign as the installer. So Solarize Newmarket, that's what I'm here to talk about briefly tonight, and then open it up for Q&A to this group. Solarize Newmarket is the campaign in your town to introduce additional solar energy into the community and increase that by approximately 50%. So at the end of last year, I think we had about 40 installations in the town and looking to get that residential installation up to 80. And we've been working with the Energy and Environment Committee in order to just launch this campaign and create interest around solar in your community. So we're here tonight just to talk a little bit about that, really just relenting back to this group and answering Q&A if there's interest. The campaign is running from the beginning of January until the end of next month, and we are offering approximately a 15% discount just in order to increase, interest in solar and be able to add more clean energy to your community. But happy to answer any questions from this group.
the percentage scale based on the number of people in the community? Is that still the same?
It is still the same. From when we did our proposal, I believe, my apologies, talking about the number of installations.
Yeah,
Yep.
versus the percentage discount. Like if there's
Oh, okay.
200 installations, the percentage discount is more. Is that still true?
That is still true, yes.
What
Approximately 15%.
is that the max?
That's correct. So with Solarize campaigns, where we traditionally see is a tiered discount based on the amount of people that are participating, or just a flat discount, and we're offering a flat discount for the campaign.
What are the current credits for federal? Are there federal and state credits for installing?
Yes. So on the federal level, we are seeing a 26% federal tax credit that is set to decrease to 22% at the end of this year. So that's part of the motivation for wanting to just create more awareness around this campaign. There are some bills that are in play on the federal level to extend that and even increase that, but currently not relying on that and trying to create more awareness. On the state level, there was a rebate program that's currently expired, and funding isn't available for that. There may be some more funding that becomes available to that, but the main form of incentive really is the federal tax credit that's valued at 26% of the total federal, or the total project cost.
So if a person installs solar panels and they're generating energy, more energy than they need, what happens in that case?
Yeah, so an explanation of how the system works. With net metering, that's the policy that's owned or governed by the state and the utilities, where you're exporting electricity back on out to the utilities and then receiving a credit for it. If you're overproducing, then you're receiving a monetary credit that you can roll over from month to month and on an annual basis as well. So allowing yourself to be able to offset the utility costs when we're seeing those rates go up. In town here with Eversource, I believe we're looking at approximately a 15% increase, or yeah, about a 15% increase in residential utility rates. So being able to essentially pre-purchase your electricity at a fixed rate and then be able to offset that for an extended period of time with the solar system just allows you to insulate yourself from utility rate increases. Hey, Chris.
Could you talk briefly or give us a little overview? You're a B Corp. Can you, yes?
Yes.
Okay, there was a little twitch. I was trying to read your body language. I'm wondering if it's convenient or comfortable for you to give us a little overview of what that process entails to get that designation.
Yes, so B Corps, benefit corporations, that is a certification for for-profit companies that want to diversify and separate themselves from companies that are only concerned with just maximizing profits and focusing on the bottom line. So what we talk about with B Corps is the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profits, because we need to be sustainable in order to do the other two. So to become a B Corp, you actually have to go through a rigorous certification process, which you have to get certified or recertified for. I believe it's every 2 years. And that's something that we're currently in the recertification process for. They look at a variety of different factors, the energy that you're getting from your facilities, the wages that you're paying your employees. Are you participating in community activities, and a variety of other fields and certifications for that. So again, a certification for for-profit businesses in order to diversify their bottom lines.
Thank you.
You got it.
I have one more quick one. Sure. And if this isn't easy to answer, that's okay. But I'm curious, and a few people have asked me, and I could only give like a kindergartner's version of the answer. So people had solar cells on their roofs or in their lawns or whatever a while ago. They're reaching their lifespan. The glass that was used or the surfaces that were used aren't the same as the surfaces that are used now. What happens to the recycling capability of the older ones that are now wearing out or obsolete?
Of course. So recycling of solar panels. I'd like to just give a slight pivot from answering the question directly, but I promise I'll come back around to it. So solar panels are traditionally designed to last for upwards of 25 to 50 years. So yes, we fully believe that the panels will last upwards of 50 years, but the warranties will cover them for 25 years. Traditionally, we're going to see a return on investment for a campaign like this or any other investment between 8 and 10 years. So approximately 15 years of free, clean electricity after the system's paid for itself, and then the additional 25 years if it's going to outstand or last that period of time. For systems where they're reaching the end of their life cycle, it's very similar to any type of recycling process where you are breaking down the components that are involved in it and working with a specific manufacturer to do that. So we currently will recycle solar panels with one specific company. I believe they're located in New Jersey, if I have the state correct. And what they'll do is receive the solar panels from us from a shipment and break down the components. In the past, what we've done is break down the components ourselves, but we found that it's just much more efficient to go through one source in doing that. So there are resources available to handle the end-of-life cycle of solar panels. But being as it is, solar is a cutting-edge industry, even 2 decades in, still saying that. We are expecting to see more companies start to come and be able to offer recycling and do it locally as well.
Gotcha, thank you.
Of course.
I don't know if you can talk about this, but can you talk a little about how storage, in-home storage, like a power wall versus the net metering, and do you get involved in that?
Yes. So our company, in addition to installing solar, we install a few other types of technologies, the heat pumps like we have on the wall here, water heaters, electric vehicle charging systems, and solar batteries. So Tesla Powerwalls, Generac, PowerCell, both of those manufacturers we've worked with and we are offering for this campaign. And net metering with the battery, how that works entirely, it's not one and the same with the battery. So generally, you're exporting electricity out with the solar system and receiving credit from it with utility, and you're storing some energy in your battery from the production to be able to carry you over during a period of an outage. So currently, solar battery technology operates very similar to just backup power, backup generator in that sense. We do have the ability to offset multiple loads, or I should say back up multiple loads in a house for a determined period of time, but generally that involves installing multiple batteries. And I think the majority of the installations that we're doing are 2 batteries, like 2 Tesla Powerwalls, or a combination of Generac power cells that are going to help folks cover an outage for probably a day, maybe a little bit more than that. Generally, about 24 hours of battery backup is what we're seeing in most installations. But yeah, it's also specific depending on what loads are being used in the house. But again, the operation of the solar battery systems are very similar to generators, and not directly working with, how can I say it, not directly working with net metering.
So if somebody already had solar panels, they could do the power wall with you?
They could, yes. So adding a battery system in the future, that's totally feasible. And doing it at this time as well if they already had existing solar panels. I saw you give me the look.
Yes, no, it was just, I thought, well, I don't want this to sound like, okay, that's it, we're wrapping up. I don't mean the question that way, but I wanted you to take a quick second to give a little plug, if it's in the top of your head, about you're also giving a presentation via Zoom through the Newmarket Public Library. So some people might like to hear about that because it might be a little longer than this presentation, and there's more time for people to have specific questions to you.
Of course. And my colleague who's sitting in the audience, who I'm going to draw attention to, Jeff, is going to be giving that presentation. And if you can remind me of the date and time for that.
Next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
So that next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Okay, people register through the library for free for the Zoom link.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
Sure.
Any more questions?
Well,
thank you guys for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
It's
for
great
having
to
us.
hear about the campaign, and we wish you success.
We appreciate your time tonight, and again, the success of a campaign like this, trying to install as much clean energy as we can, really relies on the members in the community and their activeness in the campaign as well. So, if you have friends, colleagues that are interested, please refer them to us, and we want to help your community achieve its clean energy goals. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Okay. Approval of the minutes from meeting on February 10th. Did everyone get a chance to review the minutes? Any comments or questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's one correction that I have to make. This is a correction in voting on page 3. At the top of the page, the action where we were voting for the funds for the Conservation Fund herbicide application to Wigan Farm. My error, it was approved 5-0-1 with Jeff Golnoff voting nay. So you'll receive my boo-boo.
Thank you.
Any other comments or suggested edits? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes with those edits that Sue has listed?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Or second?
Sure, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining. I have read.
Abstaining? One abstention? And
David.
Juliana and
No, the
Melissa?
voters tonight are Jeff, David. Melissa.
I'm abstaining.
You're a voter, though.
Yes, I'm a voter. Sorry.
Okay, so
I'm voting
Melissa is
to not
yeah,
voting to not
and
vote.
then Patrick. Are you abstaining too?
No.
Oh, okay. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 0, 1. No.
610.
1, 0. No. 6, 0.
4 against abstention, right?
4.
No, 4 against abstention.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
601.
Yep. So the other one was the other way.
Okay. Treasurer's report.
Okay, so the Conservation Fund, overall balance is $163,687.63. The only income was some interest. Interestingly, we used to get like $25 or $30, and last month we got less than $4. I did inquire, and apparently we changed banks. But apparently that wasn't a good move because the interest went way down. So, not sure what's going on there, but anyway. What's not showing there, we did get the LRAC grant for $5,000, so that they do provide us half the money up front, so we should be getting $2,500 now and $2,500 when we finish, so that's nice. Let's see. So in terms of, we still have the outstanding $75,000 to sell for the Gaziano property, and I did contact Dwayne. They're going through all their grant funding and paperwork, and has to be, some of that grant has to be approved by the governor and council, so he thought sometime in June we'd see the invoice, June, July. So I said no hurry, I just wanted to see whereabouts they are. I think that's it for Conservation Fund. The general fund budget balance is $686.81. And the last month's expenditures were for Sue's salary, and it looks like we're on track through June, so I think we're in pretty good shape with the general fund. Any questions about the finances? All right.
We have not received, or at least I have not seen, a formal request from the fishing derby for funding this year. However, my guess is we will still get a request So that might be something to think about. That should be coming. They should make a request by April at the very latest, if they are serious about getting funds. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. All right. Why don't we go, we don't have, Megan Baerbeck is not here from Town Council, so we don't have Town Council. Sam, do you have anything on the Riverfront Advisory to share?
Yeah, we had met a couple weeks ago on the 28th with the design group from the DES and UNH cooperative grant group. They presented to us, gave option for the committee and some other people from town. We were able to have, Public Works and Water and Sewer and Parks and Rec there as well to offer some opinions. So overall went pretty well. I think we will be getting basically the final version of their documents probably before the next meeting of this group. I think we're supposed to get them either later this month or first week of April. So I'll try to make a mental note to bring those with me if anyone wants to see them next time around. If you have any particular questions, we can talk after this as well, too, about anything. But overall, going pretty well. That grant wraps up basically within this month, at which point they will leave what they have developed in the town's hands, and it will be on the town to move it forward.
Thank you. Planning Board?
We haven't met as a group really since our last conservation meeting. The workshop that was scheduled, we did not have enough attendees, so we weren't able to hold the meeting. We only had 3, so we needed a quorum. So we didn't discuss the changes to stormwater or the zoning changes. So that we'll have to reschedule that workshop at our meeting next week. Our meeting this week is held next Tuesday because of voting. So unfortunately, I don't have much to report. Sure.
Do you know when the town's going to hire a new planner?
They have not. Yeah, the general members of the planning board are not kept up to date on that at all. So I actually have no idea. Yeah, I believe the chairman is on the group from what I heard, but that's all I really know. But I could take a moment to say thanks to Diane Hardy for many years of service to the town, and she was always good to work with for me anyway. So, yes, thank you, Diane. If you're watching. Which of course she is.
Thanks. Thanks, Jeff. Okay. As far as chair report, I really don't have very much other than to thank all of you very much for all of your service over the last year. And as we're entering into a new term for the Conservation Commission, starting next month, and to say, as my time is ending on the Conservation Commission, what a privilege it has been to serve with this outstanding group of people, and I've learned so much from you and enjoyed being with you, and I feel strongly this is a the greatest group that involved in the town, so it could get me in trouble with my wife at home is on another group in town. Well, I don't mind saying that. Yeah, so really, really great work, and I think of all the things that we've accomplished in the last year. It's really been amazing what the Conservation Commission has been able to get done as far as all the land that's been conserved, and it may not be owned by the town, but the great thing is it's going to be preserved in perpetuity, and it's going to be there for the public to enjoy, and that's the thing I will take with me from my time on the Conservation Commission, is that, these places that are special in Newmarket will be there for future people to enjoy, just the same way we're enjoying them now. All right. So with that note, I think we should go ahead and move on to officer elections, I'm wondering now, maybe we need to wait until the new term starts, actually.
I think we did them in April last year.
Yeah,
the first
I
meeting
think,
in
I
April.
think you'll need to wait until the next meeting. I put that on there. So, keep it in your mind. I won't be here to run the next meeting, so I think it'll follow Melissa as the vice chair to run that meeting. But if you're interested in serving in a position, that'll be when it gets decided. And we need people to do that, so hopefully everybody will be involved in doing that.
Do you know if there are any applications before council? Or?
I believe Melissa's going to
Yeah.
be stepping
I'll try
in,
to email
so.
it tonight, because I think they're setting the agenda tomorrow, Patrick said, for the next meeting,
So.
so.
Excellent.
Which leads me right to the next agenda item, which is that Melissa wanted to talk about the plan for Earth Day cleanup.
Yeah, so last year it went really well, I thought, especially since it was sort of you could say kind of almost a virtual version of a group cleanup. Most of you participated. We collected so much trash. We had a great partnership with Iron Goat for some of the large debris that people couldn't take care of on their own. And the transfer station took trash bags from the cleanup, even if they weren't town trash bags. They were really great about that. So I just kind of wanted to see what people thought about doing a similar type cleanup this year, where it's all week and it's a little bit flexible. People can sign up for their own street if they want to, if you thought that worked, or if we wanted to do more of like a one-day, high impact cleanup. I did email Tony to see if she was gonna. I know her position has changed a little bit, but I didn't know if she was still gonna volunteer to run the cleanup that she's been doing for a while. I haven't heard back from her yet, so I definitely want to work with her if she's still going to do that. I don't want to step on her toes. So I was just looking for input. If anybody had any, constructive criticism or ideas.
I liked that we did take the week, because
Okay.
it picked up steam,
Yeah.
and it almost became a little bit of a competition, like, you did this, well, the next day someone else, 3 other streets would come out with, what they did. So it sort of egged everybody on. I like that idea.
Okay.
I like the flexibility of a week too.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
way
That
you
allows the
could-
weather flexibility and the
Yep.
whole
Yep.
bit.
Yeah.
Is this the appropriate time to nominate you for another good graphic? Because you did a nice job on the
Yes,
graphic
I can make
for
the
it last
flyer.
time.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, all approved. There you go.
And I
Um,
thought the socials on it were good, like we did pictures of people
Yeah.
who could post their pictures after they
Mhm.
did their cleanup.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Mhm.
So,
Darling.
I think that helped encourage people as the week went on. They were seeing those pictures of people cleaning up in their neighborhood and stuff, so.
Yeah, and we had sort of, it didn't have huge participation, but I did ask people to post pictures of like unique finds, so we had a couple of those too, which was kind of fun.
Yeah. I was
Um,
gonna ask if you did anything, like, in where I came from in Milton, we did like the weirdest things you could find, and local businesses like contributed some awards, like gift cards for the weirdest
That's
stuff.
a good
so-
idea, yeah, we didn't have
Yeah.
any sort of prizes or anything last year, so I kind of.
Might be a nice way to
Yeah, I
encourage
like that
people,
idea,
yeah.
adding a prize. My only, last year it kind of came together sort of at the last minute, so we didn't have any town trash bags or anything to offer anybody. I didn't know if there was money for something like that within the Conservation Commission. Where I live, we have a dumpster at my apartment complex, so I don't have to buy town trash bags, but I recognize that a lot of people do have to do that if they're gonna go walk and clean up trash. And if they wanted to leave it curbside. Some people did purposefully try to do their cleanup the day before trash pickup so that they could just leave it curbside. And I just didn't know the logistics if that was even possible for us to offer that. And if not, that's okay. I just want to make sure I have all the information.
The town used to do like blue bags. Did they not do that anymore for volunteers?
Tony has a good relationship with the town, I think, with the blue bag. So I'm waiting to hear back from her on that. So I just wanted to make sure I got all the information from here too before.
Yeah, I like the idea of either the town donating, if that's possible.
Yep.
I'm okay with people going out, and I don't think it's too much to ask that people go out and buy a big Newmarket trash bag. But that's just me. I mean, it depends on where you are. Like you said, if you're in an apartment building and you don't regularly buy them because you don't need to, I can understand that. So making the blue bags available to people that don't regularly buy trash bags, I think, is a good thing. Because, yeah, that's understandable. But for most of us, we're buying them anyway, and to just use one extra one during this time period isn't too much to ask, I don't think.
Was last year the year that you could, sorry, I might have missed you just saying that, the year you could just take it to the transfer station? Or?
Yeah, so I did contact them, and they did let people do that, but not everybody wanted to do that. Some people wanted to do the cleanup the day before their curbside pickup and just put it on the curb. And so in that instance, they would have used a bag that they had bought. So I only had a few people ask last year if we were providing supplies, so it wasn't a huge number, so I think it'll be okay. Just, you know, it was one of my to-do list questions, so.
Yeah, great. So what would be the dates again?
So I think it would be the 17th, I think, is that Monday, through, so maybe we would start the 15th through like the 24th. That way it encompasses 2 weekends, so, you know, if people, and I think that second weekend might be Easter, so it would be even better to encompass both weekends in case people,
First weekend is Easter, I think.
or the first weekend is Easter, yep, you're right. Yeah, so 16th through the 24th would be, you know, a little bit more than a week. Earth Day is that Friday. And that's what we did last year too, kind of Saturday through Sunday, so it would encompass 2 weekends. And we have great participation too from like local sports teams and the Girl Scouts and groups like that that sort of picked larger areas because they had a big group of kids that wanted to help out. So, you know, hopefully we'll have that again this year.
Very cool.
I don't know. I personally feel like the town should be able to help fund it because it's such a benefit to the whole town. And it can't be that great of a cost to the town.
Well, send that question in and see if you can get it on the agenda for Wednesday's meeting.
Okay.
Just to ask, because I don't think it's too early to ask, because
Do you know
if
how
they
many
were going to get some money for it, they have to go through like a couple meetings to
And they
prove
only
it.
have a couple of meetings till it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know about how many bags last year were collected, approximately? Is it like 100, 500?
No, I don't know.
I don't know exactly, no. And, you know, some people didn't want to share their pictures or, you know, their, the trash they picked up on their street. They just wanted to participate, so they signed up. But, so I don't have an exact number. No.
You might be able to find more if you get a hold of Tony again. Because whatever her bags were, they could just, maybe people can go pick up one of those. But I kind of tend to agree with Patrick that if you're buying them anyway, it's kind of your gift back to the to the earth maybe or whatnot.
Yeah.
I just worry about the volunteer situation, like how do you get a bag and how do you know who already got a bag and somebody says I'm going to pick up 10 bags. It just sounds like logistically hard.
Yes, I
That's
agree.
why the blue bags are good though, because you're not giving away the town bags, which have a value. The blue bags don't have any value except the usage for the purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
And they used to go around and pick up the blue bags, right? The town would. So that's the question, I guess.
That's the right answer.
Yeah, when we did one day, I think, when we had it like on one specific Saturday, everyone picked routes that they did or streets. You picked, and then you filled up your bag and you left it right there, and then Public Works came around and just grabbed them all, I think, or.
And that is what Tony did last year, and she, you know, she had a list of streets, and then I gave her the list that people had already signed up for and already completed their cleanup on, so she could kind of tick those off and not send volunteers there to duplicate a street that might already be clean. And I know they picked it up that day because I did a little, like, I did by the gas station, the Sinclair station, which was really dirty. And so I filled up 2 bags in no time at all, and it was great to be able to just like leave it right there and not have to worry about hauling it back somewhere. So I can work on that too and see, you know, and like I said, hopefully I'll hear back from Tony soon because she'll be a great resource.
Yeah, especially if people are pulling things like tires or like in
Yeah.
Vermont they have Green Up Day,
Yeah.
and so they have those bags, and it's a whole statewide effort.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more resources available. But yeah, if there was some involvement from the haulers to like if there are big
Yeah.
items that got pulled out from the
Yeah.
sides of roads that people can't haul themselves. Yeah.
We did have a good relationship last year with one junk company, Iron Goat,
Mhm.
that went around and picked
That's
up some
cool.
of the larger debris. Yeah.
Are they in for this year as well?
I think he'll be in for this year. Yeah, I haven't heard back from him, but I anticipate that he'll be in for this year. Yeah.
Is he our
Yeah, he did
alternate
a-
hauler in town? Is that the guy who does?
So there are a few now, I think, from what I've noticed from the Newmarket Facebook page and just, local small businesses that post kind of what they can do to help the community. So there are a few other ones, but I reached out to him already, so we'll see what he says. That's all I had for that. So that's helpful, though. That'll get me rolling.
All right, thanks. Wigan Farm invasive plant control. Ellen, you weren't here last time, but we did approve the expenditure for
Mm-hmm.
Rockingham District to do the work. Isn't that who it was?
Yep.
Rockingham Conservation
Yep,
District.
so I've been in touch with them, and they're writing up the contract with Steve Bonier would sign as the town manager. And they usually do the work in July, August, September, sometime in that time frame, and it would be nice. I did some mechanical work last year, just because it's good if we can, the more mechanical work we can do, the better.
Yeah.
And I might try and line up a volunteer day sometime, probably in May or June, something like that. So I'll let people know and see if anybody wants to help and help work off your anxieties. It's nice to pull a few. So, yeah, so that's, so I think that's all set.
Great. And then you already spoke about getting the Lamprey River Advisory Committee grant for the kiosk and.
Yeah, I have a
trail.
couple things related to that. Can I
Yeah,
pick up on that?
yeah.
So that we have several pieces to that grant. One, there were 2 more hazard trees right by the kiosk that we didn't have the foresters remove because it was trickier for them at that time. And so I had John Roy, Orion Tree Service, go out and look at those yesterday. And he can take those down for us, well within the budget that we have from LRAC for that component. So I'm just waiting he'll probably do that anytime this week or next.
Great.
So those will come down. They're right, they're right by the entrance to the trail. So it's good to get. One's a hemlock that's dead, and one's a ash that's dead. So the 2 trees that are dying out there, unfortunately.
Was the ash end of life, or was it a emerald ash borer?
Probably the ash borer.
Probably
but
the
there are
ash
some
borer.
other things that are getting the ash. It's probably just overall too much. Sadly.
Thank you.
So Amy Benson's the Eagle Scout. I haven't heard from her this winter, but she'll probably hopefully she'll do her project in April, and I'll be in touch with her. She's going to finish a reroute of a trail and building a couple benches around the trail, which is cool. And then we're going to do new, or there aren't really any right now, 3 interpretive panels for the kiosk. So I've got 2 names of people who do graphic panels, people that have done the ones for like Shanda and Schottmeyer. So I'll work that up and get some quotes. And the kiosk needs a little bit of work. We've got signposts that we need to install, and I met by Zoom this afternoon with Newmarket Community Church, thanks to Chris. They have a Newmarket Care Day in May 13th, that they organize with the students at the high school. So I presented the project, some of these projects at Heron Point, so it looks like they can put some teams together, volunteers, and help us do some of those other pieces of the LRAC grant.
Nice.
Which is going to be great. So I think by the end of May, I think we'll have finished up a lot of the projects out there. The panels may not be done yet, but that'll be the last piece that put the panels in.
Does it make sense? Is there enough capacity with Newmarket Cares Day to also have them do Wigan Farm invasives, or is there just we don't know what the capacity of that group is?
The only it's mostly high school students, which are great, but invasives are hard.
Yes.
And 3 hours, these are 3-hour blocks typically, and I think that's just a lot of time to have them just do invasives. So there are a few invasives at Heron Point. So I think what my thought was, I've got a couple projects, the posts and the kiosk and so forth, and if there's like a little extra time, half hour, oh, here's how you do invasive work, and they can do like a half hour of invasive work at Heron Point. But I think 3 hours with them at Wiggins is too much, personally. Having done a lot of invasive work, it can be a downer. So let's see. I think that's so I think that's everything in Heron Point. And we had approved some of these expenditures. We had approved. We were going to fund out of our own account, but the LRAC grant is going to pretty much cover all these remaining costs. So
yes, if we have any other projects along the Lamprey River, so Slide Rock is a town property, but is it a conservation property?
Yeah.
So if we ever had anything out there that we wanted to redo, they would love to get more projects. As a member of the committee, I can tell you they don't get enough projects. So if someone has an idea about doing another project in a place that is on the Lamprey River, which is basically Slide Rock and Heron Point, those are the only two. Well, Shanda Park. Shanda Park should definitely apply.
We debated doing it last year, but we didn't have much of a vision. I think this year or next year, at some point, absolutely.
And they can give some big chunks of money.
Once it's more defined.
I mean, they have funded a huge amount of land acquisition along the Lamprey in Durham and Epping in the last go-round of funding requests. So I wish we had some land to conserve on the river, because this would be the time to apply, but we don't have anything unless someone knows of anything. I don't, but they definitely have good amount of funding, so encourage people to apply.
Is Shopmeyer still under the commission, or is it under the town?
Shopmeyer's technically under the town. We turned it over as a park, so Parks and Rec is taking care of Shopmeyer. So that's kind of good, I think, because they're managing it and keeping up with everything pretty well, I think. The mowing and the kayaks and all the docks being put in and out is something they're dealing with. So that was good that we handled that one off.
Yeah, definitely. And they could apply if they wanted to do anything, probably.
Yeah, they could apply if they had something new. Yep. Did you have another question?
No, I just wanted to, I forgot to say, so this Newmarket Cares Day with the community church is I think it's May 13th, which is a Friday. Just confirming that it's Friday and not Saturday.
Oh, okay.
But if anybody is interested in helping on that day out at Heron Point, it'd be great to have another 1 or 2 people. But if it's a weekday, obviously a lot of people are working, so that's fine. But I'll send out an email later about it.
Okay.
To see if anybody's interested.
I also just wanted to, there is a virtual workshop for Great Bay Living Shoreline Project. It's on Friday, April 8th from 9 a.m. to noon. I put the link in the agenda. If you're interested in that, you can sign up to attend that. So I think I could be interesting. I don't know if you want to share that with your group.
Yeah, so I did want to bring that up. Chris had reminded me. So that is the name of the formal grant project that the Shanda Park one is, and I can never remember it, and that's why I never say it. But the Great Bay Living Shoreline Project is the grant that the design team was being funded on, that is working on the Shanda Park project. Outside of that, they had funded projects at 4 locations, and one of the other ones was also at Moody Point and Newmarket. So 2 of the 4 for that will be presented at that workshop are Newmarket properties.
Oh, is that the Nature Conservancy property? Is that? Or no, Moody Point is not Nature Conservancy.
No, 100%. I know Moody Point is one. I know the Shanda Park one is one. There's also a site in Dover, and I believe the fourth one is in Stratham.
Yeah, I know Wagon Hill was the project that they did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have. Does anyone else had any other items?
Just interesting how overwhelming the citizens of Durham voted to take out the dam.
3 to 1, yeah.
Everybody saw that. So
Yes.
they've been working on that for a long time.
Turnout in about 10 years.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to do what you wanted them to do. Which is even more impressive.
Yeah,
We'll see.
it's cool. Some different thoughts about what could have happened here, maybe. But I'm glad they're doing it. I don't think they'll regret it. I think they'll be happy in 10 years they did that project. So
Do we know what the schedule is?
I don't
Is
know.
it? Do they?
No, I mean, they have their consultant, and they have the plan, but they'll have to, there's probably some, I forget, there's some pre-work probably to do by the consultants, but they'll have to go for grants. But hopefully they're going to start soon, because they've been studying this for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer they wait, the more just.
I thought
There's a
I
lot of
thought they had
grants.
already voted on it.
They did, so the
town
what happens is
council did.
the town council said, yes, take it out last September, but then there was a citizens petition, which is allowed in Durham, and so they just decided, okay, yeah, let's let the voters decide. So they did delay it by about 6 months, but.
They do have to wait till all the frogs wake up.
Yeah.
And anything else that's on there.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll take a while because they apply for all those grants
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
and that takes a
Yeah.
while. I think it took Exeter from the time they voted to take out their dam till it actually happened. I think it was at least a year.
Yeah, probably be a year before that.
That seems.
I just wanted to say that we are planning on having pollinator pathways at next month's meeting. So the format hasn't been formalized yet, so I'm not sure if they're actually going to be here. That's what I'm hoping, to have them in person, hoping that anybody in town who's interested in hearing about what they've been accomplishing in neighboring towns, creating a pathway for our pollinators. I hope people will attend. So we'll be seeing more on the Facebook page, and we'll post on social media just so we can get the word out.
Do you want to list the next speakers too that are coming up?
June and July, we have, I lied. That's we're
This is
March.
April.
May and June will be about wetlands plants, and then the next month is about turtle habitats. Those are the next two coming up. And I had another new agenda, a new business to bring up. Is that now? I wanted to see about or talk about or put out the initial idea about 2.0 for the event we had last October, the Saturday last October, with presentations and tours of conservation properties and a volunteer project. I wanted to see if we had interest again. I've got feedback that would indicate Joe Public is interested in seeing what we can do. But I thought this year of this space, that screen is so wonderful, and I kind of got a fire under me when I saw about Doug Tallamy being in Durham. So I thought if we had enough advance notice, if we thought we wanted to do this, if we could nail a date relatively quickly, I thought with that screen and some of the tech, we could have a presentation from somebody of outside our regular speakers or our volunteer speakers, and something else that would be local. So a local thing and a bigger scope thing, and then the rest would be whatever our subcommittee comes up with as far as a volunteer project thing. That was a real success, I thought. And if we had some location or some site that we wanted to focus, we could maybe have something be there. In the course of just talking 90 seconds about it with Ellen, I know that people had said, oh, don't do it the same weekend next time as the Deerfield Fair. We will never know how many people went to the Deerfield Fair instead of come to our event. But it is a draw, and this year I think if we're coming off of some of this stuff, it might be a bigger draw. So I think avoiding that same weekend could be good. then I said just lightheartedly, yeah, but the Deerfield Fair has that fry bread and cotton candy and those French fries and oh boy. And that turned into, well, how about we see if we couldn't find a cider press, for instance, and have that be kind of an autumn feature. So this is all very, I want to say prenatal, but you know, I think it has this kind of a flavor to it, that we could have something in the way of a food-ish thing, seasonal, and speaker, go do. If we thought that was valid. And if we either tonight or next month could start to nail a date, that would, I think, help get a couple of really good speakers lined up.
I mean, I would be on the subcommittee again. Is that what you're looking for, commitment from people?
Yeah, especially maybe people that had volunteer experience or graphic design kind of experience or had done it before, so they kind of knew what it was like.
Canva is so easy and free, so it's not.
Oh yeah, Canva's awesome.
Yeah, it's so easy. Yeah.
There's some really crappy Canvas out there. It's not.
Probably not as impressive as you're making it out to be, but.
All right, is there somebody that has nothing else to do with their life that wants to volunteer? See, it's something big. People don't want to just step up. So anyway, could we have an official subcommittee get formed? That would probably be the thing to do now. If we officially said, you know, let's do it that way, and then we can come up with some other things. And I can also check with Tim to see what kind of things would I need to be asking. What could the subcommittee be asking for in the way of what would it take to on either end to be able to really use this and recording and zooming and booming, whatever we're going to do, if the subcommittee decides this would be the space. In my heart of hearts, I think this would be really, really different than last year and nice to try.
Yeah, I think it could be great, and I think you would just need to go through, you know, probably Wendy or Steve
to reserve the spot.
To reserve the space. So you would head up this subcommittee, and then you would be looking for some other. Got one. It sounds like with Melissa.
I would help out.
I think I'm happy to do it again. Okay. I think we had a strong foundation, and we had 44 people involved altogether. You know, attendees involved altogether. The volunteer thing was a couple people went there and never came in the morning, and some people came in the morning and tootled over there. So I think we have a good thing to build on.
Yeah, I'll help with the volunteer thing.
Yeah, I'm already out. I'm past spring and the black flies and all, and the fair. I'm at the cider press and the donuts.
Sounds great.
We're talking like October 1st or 8th. Those are the first two Saturdays, right?
Well, and the Columbus Day is kind of goofy in there.
It's that weekend after.
Yeah. And if we weren't focusing so much on touring the properties, the weather wouldn't matter so much. The volunteer thing is a bigger concern, I would think, without having a committee chit-chat about it. But that would be my gut reaction.
Yeah, the 10th is Columbus Day, or Indigenous Day. How about the 1st? Probably the 1st is better then.
So Deerfield Fair or not, I think that feels comfortable myself.
It's okay with me.
I don't want to get too far into October because then it's also major leaf peeper, whatever. And anyway, that's a subcommittee topic as long as we can do that. All right.
I'd be happy to lead a fall migration bird walk in the morning of the day.
I'll tune you into the bird watcher person who was last year that wants to do something again. So there's a big bird watching thing evolving here. There's even a trip through the Sunrise Sunset Center March 26th for bird watching, spring migrations. So Matt Tarr has done a good job getting us on the bird bandwagon too. So
yeah,
good.
I can't wait to go out and look for those bobolinks again. That was great.
Wasn't that a hoot and a half? Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so next month, Melissa's gonna run the meeting. You'll have elections, and I think
in between the two of you, you'll set an agenda.
Yeah, I'll help if you have questions.
Sure.
I'm sure Ellen will help too if you have questions. Okay.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you
much.
much.
Thank you guys. Okay, so motion to adjourn.
Second. Oh,
All in favor?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Aye.